Thank you for clicking on my presentation. So just to start, during the Edo period of Japan, there were many stories about urban legends created about creatures called yokai. One yokai with very little amount of information regarding it is one called Akurojin-no-Hi. The reason I wanted to conduct research on this specific yokai was because of the very minimal amount of information that was readily available, especially in English. This project aimed to not only identify what influenced the creation of Akurojin-no-Hi, but also do this within the context of the Edo period. What I mean by that is attempted to draw connections to events like natural disasters, weather patterns, and any sort of other events which could have influenced the inception of this creature. The main methods I employed on my research placed a lot of emphasis on the analyzation of primary and secondary sources like books, Edo period literature, and information regarding Akurojin-no-Hi. Most of my resources were in the Japanese language, so I had to translate most of the sources I used. And the majority of the sources I used include information about things like weather patterns, statistics, information about Akurojin-no-Hi itself, but also information about other yokai which were sort of similar to Akurojin-no-Hi. There was one yokai called simply Akurojin, which also is said to spread plague and sickness and disaster. And before it does so, a large amount of fire appeared, so it could be inferred that that fire is what inspired the creation of Akurojin-no-Hi. And upon examining both weather statistics and quotes and documents from the time, including information about other yokai, I concluded that the weather patterns in Japan and economic factors as well had a lot of similarities to the characteristics described about Akurojins. For example, the weather, rainy season in Japan is said to bring like sickness and plague, and it said when the Akurojin-no-Hi was described, it said that those who encounter it on rainy nights become sick. So it could be inferred that the weather patterns in Japan helped play a large influence as well. And after I finished researching, I found that like many other urban legends or yokai, that Akurojin-no-Hi was formed not just as a result of economic and environmental influence, but also cultural influence.